All right, welcome to the Tap In Podcast for another episode. It's your boy Myles J, and I'm right here with Paul Schmidt, the owner of UNO Duece Media. Is that correct?
It's actually Duece.
I've been saying Dose this whole time.
Everybody does, but it's all part of the conversation.
It's definitely a conversation starter, and that's why we're here today.
Yeah.
UNO Duece Media. But either way, Paul, please introduce yourself, and again, thank you for coming today.
Oh, thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir.
Well, like Myles just said, I'm Paul Schmidt. I'm the owner of UNO Duece Multimedia. Plus, I also call myself the creative video strategist because that's my role within the team.
Okay, so you said team. How many people on the team?
There's two other full-time people other than myself. And then, we got the stable of freelancers and a good internship program, all that fun. And
so how long you been in the game?
22 years.
22 years.
22 years.
When did you start?
2001.
2001. Oh, so that's like.
Want to know what day?
Yeah, you know the day?
I know the day.
What day?
You'll once I say the day, you'll know why
I
said I know the day. September 11th.
I was thinking, okay, 9/11.
September 11th, I got up early to start this whole process. Early.
That was quite the day to start.
Yeah, it didn't quite end the same way because my sister lived in New York City.
Oh, wow.
At that time. She lives in Lansing now, but then she lived in New York City. So my day, I was excited, right?
Right,
So to start this new venture, so I got up early because I was like,
he was geek.
But then come 9 o'clock, it was a whole new situation.
9 o'clock in the morning?
9 o'clock in the morning, it all changed.
So yeah, I was way too young. I think I was about.
Oh, don't start. Don't start. Don't start. I know
I was young,
yeah,
so I don't remember the situation. But for you, and your sister being out there, like, how did that feel? Like, was she near it? Like, what? Like,
actually, she was. If I recall, from what she said, she was actually on her way out of the city at that time because she had to go to a conference in Albany.
Oh, okay.
So she was on her way out.
Albany. Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, she was like clean out the way then.
Yeah, I don't remember if she saw or heard anything at that time, but we still couldn't reach her for hours upon hours.
Okay, so UNO Duece.
Correct.
UNO Duece Media. Leading up to that, okay, who was Paul? What was Paul doing before UNO Duece Media?
Before I started my own thing?
Yeah.
I had just moved back from Michigan. Moved back to Michigan.
I was about to say
from Seattle. I was out in Seattle for a couple years working for a nonprofit organization. And that nonprofit organization focused on education and training of high school students in the realm of television and video. From a faith perspective.
Wow, that's actually really dope.
And so I did that as well as I ran their revenue generating arm.
Mm-hmm.
So, which they had a video production company that only worked for nonprofit organizations around the country.
Wow.
So yeah, that's what I did.
That's pretty dope. Okay, so how long did you do that?
Just a couple years. I learned a lot. That's why I started my business from a lot of the concepts that they had in place because I really liked working in the nonprofit world. I liked it a lot because of the stories that you get to tell about, unsung heroes or organizations that are doing some awesome things in the community, but they don't get enough publicity or they just don't know how to get the publicity. So I did that for a couple years, but I mean, the situation with me is like Seattle just wasn't my speed of town, and so I learned a lot. There's a lot of great things about Seattle, just wasn't my cup of tea at that point in time. I just think I was a little pulled more back to Michigan, and it was yeah, and so that's what I did. I just decided to use the knowledge from that experience and then propel it into a new venture. That's what I
Okay.
did.
Well, you talk about back to Michigan a lot, so I mean, I don't really know, but where are you from? Tell us about Lil Paul.
Oh man. Well, coming from the beginning, well, I grew up in Petoskey, which is about 3.5 hours north of here in Lansing. That's where I grew up.
So, like, if you throw the hand up, where you at on Michigan?
Right here. It's about 45 minutes
Y'all see
south of
that?
the Mackinac Bridge. 45
Ooh-wee.
minutes south.
That boy up there.
Right on Lake Michigan, like I was talking about earlier. And
Yeah.
and so so I was there. That's where I was born and raised. My family was there at that time. They don't really live in that. I don't really have a huge family, and so I did it one time, but it's just through a bunch of different circumstances it kind of dwindled, and then I went to school at Western Michigan University.
Okay.
Graduated with a broadcasting degree.
Oh, okay. Cause that's where the history comes.
And learned a little bit there. And then but what I did learn was I did not want to do broadcast journalism.
Why?
I felt like broadcast journalism was and at Western especially, it was really attached to news instead of thinking of it in a broader perspective. It was very attached to like regular news outlets, local news, like the CNN, and it was getting to a point, this is the early 90s, CNN just really hit its stride, and I just felt like they leaned too hard on the negative aspect.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't want to be a part of that. That's not where my heart lies. But the original reason why I went to Western was not for broadcasting.
Oh, so what was the
It was for theater.
theater?
I
You're a
went
theatrical guy.
Yeah, I went to theater. I went for theater because it was the number 1 theater school in the state.
Oh,
Seeing I couldn't afford to go out of state, which was my desire, because very ambitious Paul wanted to do something outside the state, but unambitious Paul didn't spend enough time in the classroom to get my grades to a point to be able to do that.
Right.
So I didn't apply for scholarships or grants or anything like that to be able to do that because, knucklehead kid. But I got into Western, and so I just went that route. But that was not the plan for me.
Gotcha.
And so I switched majors. Beginning of my sophomore year, I was to back up a little bit. The organization that I worked for in Seattle, I initially was introduced to them as a high school student. See, I said that they were an organization that taught video and television techniques through a faith lens.
Right.
And I was one of a chosen I was selected to attend one of their camps.
Oh, back in high school.
I was a junior in high school. And from there, I didn't really think that I would be going into the broadcasting realm or anything like that, or video or anything like that. But what ended up happening was a side project that I was involved with during that camp. It was a 2-week camp. It was intensive. It was 2 weeks. I mean,
did you go to
everything.
Seattle?
Yeah.
They flew you out.
They flew out.
You got
out
flew
to
out.
Seattle. Yep.
Food, all that.
All expenses, everything paid.
Wow. Faith-based organization.
Yep.
Look at God. Okay.
And so I did a side project there with another participant, and that side project got picked up by network television on the West Coast, and we got this huge award, all this other stuff. And when I got this letter or notice or whatever it was, I was like, maybe theater isn't, maybe in front of the camera isn't where I'm supposed to be.
Gotcha.
So as soon as I got that letter, I left, went to the School of Communications and changed my major and went into broadcasting. And from there, the rest is history, because I just pivoted into that realm and learned everything from live broadcast production to, regular video, digital video, stuff like that. And that just carried over. So at 19 years old, I made a decision that would be like, this is what I'm doing the rest of my life.
Wow, that's quite the decision to make at 19. One thing I also wanted to bring up, too, that you were speaking about as far as when you went into broadcasting, I feel like in college, they do that with a lot of majors. And it's kind of sad that you experienced that, when you went to college. I experienced that when I went to college. Low-key, I had wanted to get into political science when I was in college. But then I was like, nah, I went the college of business route, right? So when I went to college, I'm thinking, like, we're going to talk business. Like,
right.
We're going to understand how to start a business. But I felt like they were grooming me more so to be an employee of a business. And all my classmates, none of them had businesses. So I used to be confused, like, what are we doing? Right. Like, I just didn't understand that. So I feel where you're coming from, where you were saying, like, they were just focused on the negativity and, like, everything else besides what you were really trying to do, being in that broadcasting realm.
Well, absolutely. But that's the other thing is like, and I know we'll probably get into this a little bit later, but while I was at school, learning about business, running a business, anything like that was the furthest thing from my mind. That was not even a thought. I thought I was going to be in film director, like most kids going to college, and they're like, oh, I'm going to get a chance to work on a camera, stuff like that. And they think film or live TV or sports or anything like that. So, I mean, that's just how that runs. But
so let's go back to this theater, man. Like, were you in plays? Like, what?
I did a couple of plays, nothing on the big stage, a lot of student plays.
What plays you do?
Well, there was a couple, if I can remember. There was one called The Stranger.
The Stranger?
It was, now you got to remember, like, it's been like 30 years since I've been in college. Not even, I mean, like 25 years. But, but it's like, yeah, it was A Stranger. And it was just a role for 3 people. And I played this interesting.
Oh, you played one of them type roles where you played all 3?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I played The Stranger.
Oh, you were the stranger. Was that like the lead role?
It was one of the lead roles.
Okay. So like, who was the stranger? I guess.
Gosh, if I can remember, this was a while ago, but I mean, it was just, this like person that shows up, he's a former friend of the actress, or a former friend of her husband and something like that. Or I can't really remember the story all that much, but I remember doing that.
I was going to ask you to spit some lines real quick.
Oh, no.
All right. So you went from in front of the camera to behind the camera. You have your business now. Out there in the community, when you talked about you used to work for a nonprofit, in my run-ins with you and when I see you in the public or in the community, I feel like you like really for the community. We've never had I would say like a deeper conversation.
No.
But I wanted to take this opportunity now to ask you, where does that passion for the community come from? Like, you are very engaged. I see you at a lot of events. It's like, why? You could be at home chilling.
Hello, everyone. This is Joshua Southern, owner, engineer, producer here at Risky Studios. And Risky Studios, it's a place where you can be yourself. You can be creative. You can, make your wildest dreams come true. So come join us in the heart of East Lansing. Go green, go white, go Spartans.
That's a good question. And I don't think anybody's really asked me that directly. And the reason being is because when I moved here to Lansing, we didn't get to do all the history. I moved here in 2009. I moved here from the Detroit area. And when I moved, I had to make a choice because, I had this business for a while, but I didn't have the relationships that was built or what I had with my business at that time.
Okay.
I got up and moved here for my son. My son lived here. I lived in the Detroit area. And with that, I just didn't have that connection. And I chose when I noticed that things were like, man, I gotta make a decision. Money's running out.
Yeah.
I don't have anything, or the things that I have planned are not going to be sustainable. So what do? I have to go out and meet people. I have to do that. And the moment I decided to do that changed my entire life because it allowed me to grow exponentially. What I've always said since I moved here, I was like, the entrepreneurial community here in this area is so underrated.
I think
underrated immensely because of the resources that are here, the people that have done it, the people that will help you.
Accessibility is crazy.
Amazing. Yeah. And so why do I involve myself? Because I want to see, because of the fact that people took time out of their day to invest in me. It may not have been monetarily, but it was their time. Yeah. Time is money. And so I have to pay it back somehow. And because of that, I'm like, this is, I feel like I have to give back to the community. And it's very easy because it's an easy community to give back to because of the fact that people appreciate it. They say they appreciate it. And that, there's a ton of stories I have with the people that I met. And so, yeah, I mean, with that, it's easy to embrace. And so, and you want to see people win. You want to see people win because when they win, you win. It's a symbiotic relationship, and that's why I like to see people succeed. That's about it because I was at rock bottom and I just made one choice. Like I said, when I made that choice to change my major,
I
just made this choice and it changed everything because it was rough at that point.
So let's talk a little bit about the bottom. I do want to, swing back to you living in Detroit, or like you deciding to move to Lansing. But let's talk about Detroit. Let's talk about 2001 to 2005. What did rock bottom look like for you? And I know you said getting out your comfort. Well, you didn't say getting out your comfort zone, but going to meet people and stuff got you out of that rut. What was that down bad time like for you though?
Well, I mean, 2000 to 2009, or 2001 to 2009, when I moved back to Michigan and was back in the Detroit area. That went all right. I was able to weather the early recession because I did a couple things with my business. One half of it was working with nonprofits.
Okay.
And the other half was I worked in high school sports. I covered high school sports for 3 different municipalities. And so high school sports in the Detroit area is not like anywhere else in Michigan. It is just, I worked for 3 different municipalities. That's 3 cities, 3 communities that probably had like 20 plus high schools.
Wow.
that we had to work within, and so that's why I was
You was
able
doing
to
football, basketball,
Yep. all
baseball, everything?
Yep, all of it.
Oh, wow.
And so, I mean, and we go both male and female sports,
Oh,
because
you
it was
doing a lot.
heavy duty.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Metro Detroit even, but it's like football, soccer, baseball, basketball. All of those were huge, especially girls basketball in Macomb County at that time
Huge.
was gigantic. We had
Wow.
three runners up for Miss Basketball that we were covering, one that went to Michigan State.
Wow.
Stuff like that. It was just, in football, I don't even know what to say. I mean, it was just like, you were in stadiums that rivaled college stadiums,
Wow.
high schools. It was like, I'm from up north where our football team was garbage.
Right.
And it was
No
like,
fans.
everybody went for the marching band, my high school. In fact, my high school marching band goes around the world.
Really?
It's that good.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, that I digress. But yeah, so that was, a situation where the business was okay because I had this income, the way that it went, where things were not great, where obviously on the personal end, that's
Okay.
but
Gotcha.
but then when I moved here to Lansing, that's when I realized I've got to shift. I've really got to shift into an area that I've never had to do before, because all the business that I gotten to the point was all through the networking I did through the church, through adjacent nonprofits that were associated with it,
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and then the sports.
The sports, that sounds like a huge market for you.
It was pretty good, And like I said, I worked within municipalities, not really like the major news stations, because this is Metro Detroit. There's no way that they could cover. I mean, I was talking about three schools with 20 plus, or three
That
cities.
makes sense, though. I didn't think about it like that.
It's just, so when I got here, I'm like, oh, they got schools here. Oh, it was not. I was
Yeah,
like,
not the
you don't
same.
even have half. You don't even have the high schools that I had to, be in and out of on a weekly basis.
Wow.
So it was just the way it is.
Well, that's actually very interesting, because I didn't know you did that, but I got a lot of young students that I work with or talk to. I'm in the schools a lot, and it seems like it's like becoming popular to become like a videographer / photographer now. I don't know what it is, but like I remember I was at the what was it, Moneyball, the Moneyball event. There were no cheerleaders. There was more photographers than cheerleaders. There was no cheerleaders. I seen about 8 photographers, and it was all kids. And I'm like, man, like where everybody getting these cameras from? So so I see there's clearly an opportunity in that realm, and I kind of want to talk to you off camera about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
As far as working with some kids and trying to get them to.
Well, that's and that's a background that I have because I did that.
Right.
I went through it, and then I also, was on the other side of that, doing the instruction.
Yeah, I think they would really benefit from learning from you, because I got a couple young people. His name is Cyrus. Shout out to Cyrus. Cyrus, he was telling me, and I hate to do this, but he was dealing with some hate from his own classmates. Like he said that he was walking into a game, and they was like throwing stuff at him and calling him names and saying like, "You not like this other photographer. Like, what are you doing?"
What?
Crazy stuff, bro.
Man.
But so I believe in him though. Shout out to Cyrus.
No.
Shout out to all my young photographers. Y'all doing great work. So that's why it's called the Tap In Podcast. I want to highlight people that that tap into the what they want to do in life and to their destiny. And so, if you could give them a couple gems to help them really take it to the next level, I think that's that'd be beneficial.
Absolutely.
All right, bet. Cool.
Absolutely.
Well, one thing we want to do real quick is slide into our next segment.
Okay.
really interesting story about your life, though. I'm glad we got to have this conversation. We play a game here called Apples and Oranges.
Right on.
Apples or oranges, excuse me.
Apples or no mangoes?
No mangoes, man. I ate the mango. But no, so apples or oranges, basically I would have an apple or orange here.
Okay.
Today we got cookies.
We got cookies.
Yeah, cookies on display.
Is it real or fake?
They're real. I'll let you eat one, but I don't know.
No.
So when I was 13, I used to sell cookies. That's why they on display. But either way, apples or oranges. So real simple. You just basically say like whether you like it or not. Apples or oranges, which one you like better? So we're gonna start.
Okay.
Apples or oranges?
Apples.
Bills or Dallas?
I'm sorry?
Bills or Dallas? Buffalo Bills.
Oh.
Or Dallas Cowboys.
Bills.
Bills? Oh, because of New York ties?
No.
Oh, why?
Man, not a fan of Dallas.
Okay.
Not a fan. Let me say, not a fan of Cowboys.
Not a fan of the Cowboys. Okay. Water or Powerade?
Water.
Candy or fruit?
Oh man. Oh, I've got a sweet tooth. I have to give you candy.
What candy? What's your favorite candy?
Do I?
You look like a Hershey guy.
No, not Hershey. I think Reese's peanut butter cups.
Okay. All right. Football or basketball?
I would probably say, I shouldn't say probably, I will say basketball.
Okay. Yeah, you're not a Cowboys fan, so makes sense. Nikon or Sony?
Ooh, Nikon.
Okay. Photography or videography?
Oh, that's a good question. It would be videography. But
Okay.
I like how you have that, because a lot of people lump them in. Like
Yeah,
they're the
they
same.
do. Yeah,
They're
yeah,
not
yeah.
the same.
They are not the same, and cinematography is different too.
Oh, absolutely.
I was gonna put that on there, but I'm like, we're gonna stick simple for my viewers here.
That's good.
YouTube or Vimeo?
Oh, man. That's a tough one. But I will say what I use the most is YouTube.
Okay. On what end? On content creation end, or are you saying you use it to digest content?
I use it to digest content.
Okay. I mean, that's valid.
Mm-hmm. And so, but yeah, anyway, let's just keep moving on, because I got my opinions on that one. So,
All right.
So.
IG or TikTok?
Oh, man, that's another good one. I will say TikTok.
TikTok?
Yeah.
All right. Cane's or McDonald's?
Cane's.
All right, I was about to say, man, I threw you an alley-oop. No, don't mess that one up. But that's the end of the game, man. Appreciate you for participating.
No problem.
Just had like to have a little fun, like I said,
that's
on the show. But is there anything else that you want to tell the audience, young aspiring photographers and videographers, on this show?
Well, I mean, from my standpoint, coming where I came from, where there wasn't a whole lot of media, like not a whole lot of opportunities.
Right.
There's opportunities now. If that's what you want to do, just do it. Don't worry about, steps. Just pick up a camera, learn how to do it. Tell a story, because there's always more stories.
Always. And the media can't cover all of them.
That's right.
That's why we got this podcast right here.
Exactly.
Yes,
like
sir.
it.
All right. Well, we appreciate y'all, man, for watching, staying in. If you watched this long, thank you so much. It's my boy Paul, and we're going to see y'all next time. Matter of fact, we forgot to give Paul a round of applause, man. Let's give him a round of applause, man.
All right. Yeah.
For coming in, man. All right, y'all. Till next time, it's your boy Myles J on the Tap In Podcast.